everybody. Today I'd like to talk about hyperplanting in PGA 2K21. This is a technique that I learned about when I was watching one of Crazy Canucks videos, and it uses a tool called AutoHotKey and a script that runs in the background while you're planting to make planting easier and quicker. I'll start with some advantages. It is significantly faster than single planting. It is more efficient than multi-planting, and I have done some tests. I single planted a number of objects until the meter went from 0.0 to 0.2. That number was the same in both of my tests. Then I used my Hyperplant script to plant objects until the meter went to 0.2, and it was the exact same number of objects. So I believe they are equally efficient, solo and hyperplanting. The objects that you place will auto-rotate. And I've just made a change. If you had looked at my script from January, I've updated it so that you can now scale the objects up and down and then continue to keep planting. And I apologize for this next part. Apparently my capture program does not work on the desktop. Right click on your background and then choose New and AutoHotKey Script. That's going to create something that looks like this. Just give it a name. I suggest Hyperplant, but honestly you can call it whatever you like. And then drag that script that you just created down to the bar at the bottom of the screen. Then you're going to want to right click on that icon, the one with the H on it, and then right click again on the script that you just renamed. And that's going to give you these choices. You can then left click on Edit Script. That will bring up a notepad window. Just get rid of the text that's already in there, and then paste the script, which you will find in the description for this YouTube video. I have loaded PGA 2K21, the course editor is running, and I just clicked on the Windows key. You'll see something that looks like this. You can then right click on the script, circled in red down at the bottom of the screen, and then choose the script that you created, and just left click on that. As you can see, I'm in the PGA 2K21 course editor. My script is loaded and it is running away in the background. So now I can show you how this works. Let's say that I want to add a tree. I'll choose this ash tree. I'm going to single plant here, but if I press 1 on the keyboard, the object that is currently selected will automatically begin to spin. And this just makes it a little bit easier when you're single planting to get some variation, some different angles to the objects that you're putting down. Now to hyperplant, and I put a fence down here. Let's say that I wanted to hyperplant some grass along the bottom of this fence line. So what I would do is press 2 on the keyboard. Oops. I would press 2 on the keyboard. This will hyperplant a lot of objects very quickly. And to hyperplant, I just press and hold on my planting button on the joystick. Now if I don't like the way that looked for some reason, I can undo, and it actually undoes everything that I just hyperplanted, not just the last item. Now if I want to place something a little bit bigger, go in and maybe choose this bush, and I want to put it in this area here. I can press 3 on the keyboard, and now it's not going to plant quite as many objects because I don't want them bunched up too much. And you can see that as I move around, it is planting objects, but not quite as quickly as it was. Now what I would typically do at this point, once I've got a bunch of objects planted, is I would scale up whatever it is I have selected, and then I could hyperplant again, but I'm just tapping to single plant just to get a little bit of variation in the size. I think that looks pretty good. And then there's one more mode. Let's say that I wanted to automatically plant some trees along the edge of this fairway here. So I can press 4, go back to my ash tree, and now I'm in mode 4, and as I move along the fairway here, I place objects, and you can see that with the randomness in there, sometimes the objects are closer together, sometimes they're a little bit further apart. If I were to go back to number 3 and do that, you can see that I'm getting a lot more objects, and if I were to press 2, then objects are really close together. So that's the difference between mode 2, mode 3, and mode 4. The other two keys that you need to know about, tilde will keep the script loaded, but it won't actually be doing anything. And that's kind of important. Sometimes occasionally you'll get a little bit of weirdness in the menus, because every time you push your main button on your controller, it thinks you're trying to plant something in the AutoHotKey script. So I usually will press tilde, and that leaves the editor running, or leaves the script running, but it's only in the background and it's not really doing anything. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes I will leave the program, PGA 2K2 entirely, 21, and be trying to type a number in an email or something, and instead of numbers appearing, I will see the letter A. And that always means that the script is still running in the background. To get it unloaded from memory, to just get rid of it, you just press escape. I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of the Hyperplant script, and I hope you enjoy using it. I find that it makes things a lot quicker and it's a lot easier on my thumb.